This is Sfax. It's a medium-sized city about halfway between Tripoli and Tunis. And we stopped there. This, I think, is the first time we went to Tunisia. That's my 61 Sunbeam Alpine. Very faithful car. We made, I think, a total of 4 trips to Tunisia in that car. Never had any problems. I think I might have had a flat tire once in the car. Replaced the battery. That was about it. In 2 years. That's kind of a typical road in Tunisia. A well-maintained road. It could easily be in the south of France. You know, we're leaving Sfax. I think now we're heading towards Tunis. See, there are trees along the side of the road. Very little traffic in those days. Vineyards and fruit trees. That's me, my younger days. I think altogether it's about 1,000 kilometers from Tripoli to Sfax, to Tunis, along the coast road. See, there's hardly any traffic. Nowadays, I expect it's probably a little busier. It's probably more built up. This is sort of a remarkable, that's El Gem. It's a Roman amphitheater, Colosseum, I guess. Just sitting in the middle of nowhere. We didn't stop on that trip. We did on another trip stop and wander around. There was nobody. There might have been one guard. That was about it. Unlike the Roman Colosseum, where you've got hordes of tourists and guards and security people and things. There was nothing. It's fairly untouched, in fact. Or maybe anything that could have been lifted had already been taken, but it was remarkably in good shape considering it's probably 2,000 years old or something. You see the evidence of the French settlers there. That really road could be anywhere in the south of France. Little milestones along the road and lots of trees. Sousse is another smaller city on the way to Tunis. That's a Renault 4 4CV designed by Ferdinand Porsche. It's not as famous as his Volkswagens. Similar car, rear-wheel drive, 4 doors. Volkswagens were all 2 doors in those days. Water-cooled engine in the back instead of air-cooled. Those are some taxis. And these little cachevos were just all over the place. I guess it was a beauty contest there. We didn't attend it, but Mediterranean festival of some sort. It's a Ford Fairlane, I think about a 64, 65. A car like that would be really expensive in Tunisia. They had incredibly high car taxes, and so did France, actually. So whoever was driving that car was probably a member of the royal family or gangster or something. Not a hard-working Tunisian middle-class person, I'm sure. You can see sort of a mixture of dress. Kind of hard to see there. There's the Sunbeam again, parked. I guess we were probably sitting across the street in a cafe or something, having probably a soft drink in the middle of the day. Marguerite. I don't remember what that building was. I think there was some reason for us stopping there. It might have been a tourist center or something. There's a little kid dragging something along in his cart. Delivering something, probably. So here we are. I think we hadn't quite made it to Tunis yet, but it was really hot. And so we stopped by the beach and just pull over to the beach and jump out of the car, put on your swimsuit, and go in the water for a little while, cool off. See, there were a few other locals there doing the same thing. A windmill. It's probably a vineyard there. They had pretty good Tunisian wine. It wasn't expensive. I don't recall Tunisian beer. Libya had some pretty good beer, actually. It was run by some Germans that ran the national brewery. I think the beer was called OEA. It was really cheap, 8 piastres a bottle, I think, which was about 10 cents or 15 cents. Never knew exactly what those Germans, the ones that were left in North Africa when we got there, they never talked much about what they did during the war for some reason. Probably just had short memories, I'm sure. So I think we're approaching Tunis. Traffic's a little heavier. You can see the power lines, so that would indicate we're getting nearer a city. Probably on the outskirts of Tunis there. Again, an ad for Vichy water. The French had moved out of there, I think, a few years before. Their influence was diminishing almost by the day. Marguerite checking out the map. Not a very big country, Tunisia. And of course, as I record this, they've just had their government collapse, which is probably not, at least for a few years, not going to make the place better. It's probably, there's a haystack. I think it's hard to see. I think there's probably a farmhouse there. Probably a Frenchman, his family. I think this is Tunis now. I think this is probably from our hotel. Don't remember what the hotel was. And there's the Sunbeam parked in front. Top is up. We never really had any problems with anybody stealing anything out of it, but a little less of a inviting target then. Now there's Udo and Mary Louise. Mary Louise being a Pied Noir French Algerian settler whose family had to flee the country. So this, I think, is a different trip that we made probably a few months after the first one. First time we went, just Marguerite and me, and then on one time we went with Udo and Mary Louise and Don Gray and Janine. There's Don and Janine. Don is a geologist, Citroën DS. Probably the best French car in those days. Remarkable engineering. You could go about 40, 50 miles an hour over any kind of bump or anything else and hardly even know it. Yeah, there's Udo and Mary Louise again. Udo worked for a German drilling company, and Mary Louise worked for Total, just like Marguerite. Had to flee the country, had to flee Algeria, I guess in 61 or 62, and came to Libya in '64, very embittered towards de Gaulle, who had been elected on the promise of Algérie Française, French Algeria, and then changed his mind and infuriated millions of French. The country nearly split in half as a result of that. There's Udo again. I think we're probably in the hills above Tunis there. There's a lone freighter, I guess. There's my Nikon camera. First thing you did when you went to Libya was buy a camera. They were really quite inexpensive. I think that was about 90 pounds or something. In Europe, it'd be about double that. And then you bought a Rolex watch, and then you bought some lenses maybe for the camera. These were your main purchases when you went to a place like Libya. These are some cute little Tunisian kids. They look just like little French children, and smiling and cheerful, unlike their Libyan counterparts who were grim and evil looking, never smiling, throwing stones and cursing you, just like their parents.